Well, it's a beautiful day here in Albert Park in the heart of Middlesbrough. Brian Clough came from Valley Road, which is not far from here. He used to walk through here to go to Ayresome Park to play football. We went on to play 222 games, scoring 204 goals. Terrific tally. He's probably about 4th or 5th in the list. There's only 10 scored 100 goals. Cloughie's one of them. But if you look at goals per game, he's number one. Unbelievable. Not only was he a great player, but obviously went on to management for Nottingham Forest, Derby County. He won the league, the old First Division for Derby, against all the odds. 2 European Cups back to back. I loved everything about Clough. He was a character. He was opinionated, he was charismatic, charming, and obviously a winner. What more could you want from a boy from Grove Hill? The one question I would ask is, and I've threatened to do this, if I could lift that and uproot it, I would get it on my shoulders and I'd carry it to the riverside to be alongside George Hardwick and Wilf Mannion. That's the only 2 statues of former Middlesbrough players in England internationals. Cloughie was an England international. He only get 2 caps, but some people say, oh, he never played in the old First Division, he would never have made it. Load of rubbish. He was a top man. The only thing I'm disappointed in is it's here because it should be there. I think it's here because of political things that went on in the past. Cloughie used to score 5 goals, the defence would let 6 in. And Cloughie was accusing his teammates fixing games. It probably did go on back then. And the lads knew about that and they all voted. They did a thing to get him out. And that's why Cloughie eventually left Middlesbrough, went to Sunderland, done his knee in, and his career was cut short due to injury. Anyway, the only thing I'm disappointed in, I've seen many statues. There's one down in Nottingham. I've seen that. I've went to see that and pay homage to it. This cage around it. It's as if Cloughie's in a jail. Why is it like that? That's an indication that people in Middlesbrough are vandalising the great late Brian Clough. No, that's ridiculous. Come on. We need to do better than that. Right, let's see this statue. I wanted good shots of it to show the public. This YouTube goes all over the world. And here we've got a guy who looks as if he's in imprisonment. What, for scoring goals and winning trophies? It's ridiculous. Well, that's the plaque that Brian Clough at Grove Hill. That's the plaque that they put up, and yeah, I can't remember a plaque being up in Glasgow for me. No, seriously, he deserves a plaque, Cloughie. These are paper cuttings from 1993 when I was getting booted out of Middlesbrough Football Club. These were in the tabloids locally and nationally. Despite the headlines, nothing came to fruition. I was a fan of both, obviously. I've stressed throughout that I'm a Clough fan, but I was also a kind of Leeds fan. When he was at Celtic, I used to watch King Kenny from the stands. Yeah, massive fan. He was my boyhood hero. But Cloughie and the Dalglish interest came to nothing. Typical tabloids. Carry stories with no real substance. I have many pictures up on my office wall, but this takes pride of place. This is Borough's greatest ever goal scorers. There is only 100. It's called the 100 Club because there's only 10 scored 100 or more goals. The other guys is George Camsell, George Elliott, Brian Clough, John Hickton, Mickey Fenton, myself, Alan Peacock, Wilf Mannion, despite being a winger, scored over 100 goals, David Mills and Billy Pease. But there's Cloughie there. It's a great stance, that, isn't it? I love the strip as well, the big V-neck. White sort of a V-neck with the red top. So as I say, that takes pride of place along with a host of other pictures. As Andy Warhol was quoted as saying, "I don't read books, I just look at pictures." That sums me down to a T. Despite having all these books, I mean, there's Mon books, Mon publications, Paddy Crane, the Celtic books, Middlesbrough Legends, the Republic of Ireland, the Yorkshire Vet, who's my pal, Peter Wright. Obviously Johnny Marr, who was a guitarist in the Smiths, Andy Ritchie, my old Morton teammate. Then there's a host of Morrissey and Mozopedia, and then there's obviously the history of Middlesbrough Football Club and a striker book at the end. Have I read them all? Of course I've not. But there's 3 that jump out at me, and these are the 3. It's Borough Legends. I'm intrigued with these 3 guys, always have been. There's the late great Wilf Mannion, golden boy of football. Yeah, that's Wilf Mannion's. There's George Hardwick, Gentleman George's, who is known. George Hardwick. For those that don't know, the younger viewers, Wilf Mannion was a winger, fantastic winger, quick, skillful, could beat 4 and 5 players wherever. But Janino, this guy, by all accounts, was unbelievably good. George Hardwick was a fullback, captain, leader, and a very, very great defender. And then there's obviously Brian Clough, who we're focusing on at the minute. I love the name of Cloughie's book, Walking in Water. That's typical Cloughie fashion. But this one is especially close to me, and the reason is that, well, my father's passed away now, God rest him, but I bought this book for my dad, and Cloughie signed it. I got him in the heart of Middlesbrough in one of the bookshops, and it says, "Be good, Hugh, Brian Clough." I laughed, be good. My dad was about 75 at the time. And I just love it. Be good, Hugh, Brian Clough. So there we have it. As I say, all these books, publications, a lot of them I've did myself, and then there's other ones that I'm intrigued in, like music and The Vet, and Paddy Crane, Man United legend, of course, played with Georgie Best and Dennis Law, won a European Cup. Billy McNeil won a European Cup, the first captain. Have I read them? No, I haven't. Why? Because I think if you read books, it's an indication you've got too much time in your hands, and I don't seem to have a lot of time despite not having a job. Anyway, there it's there. Cloughie, Walk and Water. And by the way, I believe he did walk and water. Yeah, this is a picture I got taken with the late great Brian Clough. I travelled to Nottingham to do an interview for Borough TV. He agreed to do it, and it was fantastic actually meeting him, because he has been, I've not got many idols, the majority are from the music world, but Cloughie was certainly an idol of mine. Knowing the history of the football club, played the same club as myself, Middlesbrough. The difference was obviously he was born and bred. But yeah, Brian ticks all the boxes for me, and he was everything I thought he would be. I remember asking him before I did the interview, "Do you want to go through the questions?" And I'm thinking, surely he does it. He's not that type of guy. And he went, no, carry on, young man. And then I had my mate with me. He was 30 stone at the time, a lad called John. So I said, "Oh, Brian, this is John." He says, "Oh, how are you doing, young man? Where are you from?" My mate says, "Middlesbrough." He says, "What school did you go to?" My mate replied, and Cloughie said, "Boy, you must have ate some school dinners." And that was his introduction to my mate. Another story about Cloughie was, I was in Middlesbrough Town Centre. I was doing a bit for Borough TV. It was an advert type thing. And as we're messing about with a ball, there's this lady passing, shouted, "Oh, Bernie, you were a good striker at Middlesbrough, but not as good as my brother." And I was intrigued. I said, "Who's your brother?" And she says, "Brian Clough." And I says, "Fair dues. Can't argue with that one." But Brian Clough, he was a man full of, he's full of quotes, wasn't he? I remember, what was the quote when he brought players in? When he brought players into his office, he would say, "We have a chat about contracts or whatever, and then we talk about it for 20 minutes, and then they decide that I was right." There was another one, he obviously was a big socialist, Brian Clough, but he was quoted as saying, "Of course I'm a champagne socialist. The difference between me and a good Tory is he keeps his money and I spend mine." Born and bred in Middlesbrough, what was it like growing up in the borough?
Well, I was very happy, Bernie, extremely happy. I fell into football because I was thick academically, as you've already established talking to me this morning. And I was extremely happy. I was born and bred in Valley Road, near the park. I was obsessed with sport, even when I was a little child. Neglected school, obviously, like a lot of us did in those days. And I was very, very happy. We used to live next door to the Steelworks Football Club, and they had a cricket pitch also, and I was a fanatic cricket fan. And it was cricket, obviously, during the summer, when we got some at Middlesbrough. We didn't get a lot at summer. It makes me laugh when all these foreigners come up to Middlesbrough, and after about 6 months, the wife says, "Oh, we can't stand the weather." And I turn around to Barbara, my wife, and I say, I said, "I never saw one palm tree in Middlesbrough while I lived there for 20-odd years. I said, I never saw a bloody coconut till I went abroad." And she said, "We can't stand the weather." What the hell does she think it is in Middlesbrough? Bloody sunshine like Florida. Anyway, I used to Clareville and Steelworks Club and Albert Park.
Yeah.
That was my three. When I eventually signed for Middlesbrough, I used to walk through Albert Park, but inevitably I was late, so I used to run through. and then come back again and walk back afterwards.
Well, thanks to Group Industrial UK Limited for sponsoring my new YouTube channel. If you like it, please subscribe now.